Grand Theft Auto 6 and the Nintendo Switch 2 are hot topic issues right now. From the prices and more, I gotta ask the question. Are we heading towards a complete tanking of the industry in the long run due to these two juggernauts? The gaming industry has been holding its breath for GTA 6 like it's the second coming of Christ himself. And Nintendo Switch 2 is so hyped by Nintendo fans, you would think that the console could cure cancer due to how much the Nintendo faithful are already defending this thing and it's not even out. And while both the Switch 2 and GTA 6 will of course break all the records, I mean, why deny it? We all know that it's true and it will happen. There always comes a caveat with these sorts of mammoth level events. We've all heard the rumors that GTA 6 could very well cost upwards of $100 American, which would clock in well over $130 Canadian for a single game alone. And Switch 2 games are already confirmed to be $80 digitally and $90 physically depending on the games. That's right, fellas. Your wallet's about to get curb stomped harder than a pedestrian in Vice City. So, is this the end of gaming as we know it? Let's break it down. First up, Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar has been teasing this game so long I'm pretty sure my unborn kids are already pre-ordering it. It's set in a fictional Florida called Leonida with a Bonnie and Clyde duo named Lucia and I think Jason, I think that's his name. Anyway, it's poised to be the biggest game ever. Like, make Avengers Endgame look like a community theater production level big. But here's the kicker. Industry insiders are whispering that Rockstar might slap $100 price tag on the standard edition. $100. For context, that's 2 indie games, a month of Game Pass, and a large pepperoni pizza just for GTA 6 alone. That's crazy, dude. Now, Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two, isn't new to pushing these sorts of things. After all, they were the ones who jacked up NBA 2K21's price to $70 back in 2020. And gamers, unfortunately, ate it up like it was a free buffet. So, why $100? Well, they're banking on GTA 6 being a cultural juggernaut, and let's be real, it probably will be. Because, come on guys, you know you're probably gonna buy it, I'm gonna have to buy it for the channel, and my dog's probably gonna buy it with my credit card while I'm asleep. But here's where it gets sort of dicey. If GTA 6 normalizes $100 games, every publisher from EA to Ubisoft, they're all gonna follow suit faster than you can say microtransaction hellscape, unfortunately. Because imagine a world where every AAA game now costs somewhere in the $90 to even $100 American range. Realistically, this is just not feasible for most players because not everyone has the expendable income to drop that much on a single video game, no matter how much they want it. The defense of more expensive games is already happening. Look at Nintendo Switch 2 right now. That whole reveal is a war zone of epic proportions. Everybody is just fighting with each other, claiming that there's no way that Nintendo can get away with what they're doing, but the sad fact is that if there's any fan base in gaming that is loyal, it's Nintendo fans, for better and definitely for worse too. Because we always talk about it in this space, how players are enabling these companies to get away with literal murder, and with Nintendo fans, it's always true, unfortunately. You got comments like this one where a guy says a Mario Kart World will be worth the $80 that you spend on it, or $90 I guess physically. And listen, I have no doubt that the latest Mario Kart will be a feature-complete game that will run well and all of that. It's not really the issue for me. The problem is that while yes, good games or great ones can probably maybe justify these larger price points, it's the fact that everything else that isn't of the same quality is going to follow suit now that Nintendo has blown the horn to advance the prices. And I'm telling you that once GTA 6 finally has a concrete release date, that's when we'll know if this industry is heading towards an inevitable crash or not, because GTA 6, like Switch 2, are going to massively overperform, no matter what. But the fact of the matter is that the games industry, like any other, enjoys following whatever trends will make them the most money. This is why we all went through years of every company under the sun releasing their very own battle royales when they were popular, and most of them, they don't even exist anymore. And some trends are far harder to follow through with than others, like for example, releasing feature-complete games that don't immediately implode the moment you try to play it. But if there's one very easy trend, it's just simply hitting delete on your keyboard and putting that dollar symbol from a 7 to an 8 or a 9 instead. And let's be real, I fully expect every single publisher, company, and everyone else to follow suit once the Switch 2 releases this June with their obviously inflated price points. And once GTA 6 drops, it will be the massive final nail that will inevitably move the industry towards complete delusion with their pricings. Nintendo is defending their choices, however. This comes from one website. Nintendo justifies $80 price tags for Switch 2 games, citing development and replayability as key factors. So Doug Bowser, no, not that Bowser, was interviewed by the Washington Post, which is referenced in this article. Basically, he says that Nintendo will review every game they make and then decide whether the game being made is justified at being $80 or even $90. And I'm going to stop you right there, Bowser. We all know you guys will just price everything at insane prices because you can. There's no way they're going to make it lower. They're not going to drop their Switch games to say $50 or maybe even $60. It just isn't going to happen. Nintendo, like Rockstar, knows their fans will pay insane prices for literally anything that they make. I mean, come on, that demo that they have for the Nintendo Switch, it's going to be $10 American for a demo, dude. And then when you come to GTA 6, that's going to be the biggest cash cow on the planet when it releases as well. So let's just say that the game is $100 at retail. You already know that it will launch with GTA Online day one because that's Rockstar's other mega cash cow within the already expensive experience that you just paid for. And people will complain all the time that fully priced video games shouldn't have microtransactions. Yet we see it all the time anyways. Besides GTA 6, even Assassin's Creed Shadows launched with a full store filled with premium skins because the price of admission isn't enough these days. It seems to me anyways that Nintendo, Rockstar, Ubisoft, and more are looking at their games as events, more so than as a single game product. They want you to think of it more like you're going to a hockey or a baseball game. You pay to get in, but then you gotta pay extra to actually enjoy yourself even more. Maybe you want a hot dog, a beer, or a t-shirt with your favorite player's name on it. All of this is extra on top of what you just paid to physically enter the establishment. That's how video games are going to become, pretty much. You bought GTA 6, good for you. Now give us more money if you want to look cooler or do more in our game that you already paid through the nose with. And there's no way that Nintendo won't bring more to their games either. I mean, Mario Kart gets updates too after all, and they aren't cheap. But here's the thing, once the party is over, the lights turn off, and Nintendo makes their money and walks away, and Rockstar becomes more richer than Tony Stark himself, the rest of the industry is going to see that massive success and go, damn, we want some of that too. And this is where it gets worse, because now everything will jack up in price. The quality of the goods won't. What are you, crazy? You want better products for paying more?
That's right. Cry.
Stop being entitled, just open your wallet already. And then people's Steam libraries are going to start looking like a ghost town as more and more games realize thinking they too can justify the price hike until they find out that nobody is buying their games because now they're also too damn expensive. And don't get me started on the special editions, GTA 6 Ultimate Crime Lord Edition or whatever they want to call it. Will probably be $200 if not more American, and it'll come with a digital shark card and a real-life parking ticket too. Hard pass? No thanks. Meanwhile, Nintendo's out here playing 4D chess with our wallets. The Switch 2 dropped its big reveal, and it's a beast. It's got a bigger screen, beefier hardware, and backwards compatibility so you can keep playing Breath of the Wild until you're 80 years old. Oh yeah, also, did you know there's a Nintendo Switch 2 version of both Zelda games that released on the Switch already? The upgrade from Switch to Switch 2 will be a $10 payment, but if you don't own either games when you buy your Switch 2, both of those games will set you back each $80 to $90 too. Which is crazy, dude. Here's a comparison video that Gamers Pray did between Breath of the Wild on the Switch versus the Switch 2. If you ask me, the Switch 2 looks barely better. We're talking what, maybe 10% if that? And the only actual change that I can see is that Wilds loads about 3 seconds faster on Switch 2. And if you ask me, for a whole new console that is 8 years removed from the previous hardware, 3 seconds of load time is not that much of a bump in loading quality if you ask me. But Nintendo fans will still slurp this up, as will GTA 6 fans when the new bundle drops in GTA Online 2. Here's the brand new Honda Civic in GTA 6. You can play with this digital car for the low price of probably like $30 American. And it sounds like I'm kidding, but we know it to be true, unfortunately, because MoneyControl.com also just released an article titled, GTA 6 price leaked ahead of official launch, likely to cost a lot more than GTA 5. According to them, a Swiss retailer online briefly featured GTA 6 on their storefront, and the price was about $112 American for a single copy of Grand Theft Auto 6 at release. I just want to see how much that would be in Canadian for me. Okay, so $112 American, that comes to $158.87 Canadian. Oh my god, dude. That's before tax, by the way. Where I live, it's 5%, so we're easily in the $160 range for a single copy of GTA 6. And go ahead, try to justify that price for a single game that, by the way, doesn't have any DLC attached yet, or deluxe shenanigans or anything else. You can't. That's crazy, dude. The only game that is worth $160 is Cory in the House for Nintendo DS. Everything else isn't, and you can't really change my mind. And I knew this would happen, because look at this. GTA 6 may cost $100 as Trump-era tariffs spark global pricing speculation among fans. Oh great, now they're gonna blame the president for their plans they already decided on well over a year ago. It's crazy how people think these companies come to these conclusions the minute before they announce it. They don't. These price points and decisions are all finalized well before you hear anything about them, but now they got the convenient scapegoat to transfer all of their backlash off of them, and now Rockstar and Nintendo can pull their trap card on fan attacks and reveal that they just used Mirror Force, and now all the blame is on Trump instead. Like I said, it's a very good 4D chess move and they're gonna do it. Here's a GTA fan account compiling all the prices for GTA 6 that were all found leaked all over the internet. Go ahead, look at those numbers, and tell me if any of those sit right with you when it comes to buying a single video game today. Also, here's that post from that Swedish retailer that someone grabbed before it was taken down. Yep, that's a lot of money, fellas, for a single game. As one user tried their best to say, if nobody bought it, they would be forced to put the price down. Oh, bless your heart if you think nobody will buy GTA 6 despite this. They could shadow drop GTA 6 on us right now, and the entire industry would go into complete utter chaos the moment it happens. The Twitch streams would be flowing, YouTube videos would get made suddenly, and articles would get shut out of these websites if that suddenly happened. The sad part is that when it comes to GTA 6 and Nintendo fans in general, is that these groups of customers are some of the most, let's be real, gullible and easily defensive of their preferred games or platforms. It is what it is. There's no way in hell that the Switch 2 doesn't break all the records. I guarantee you everything will sell out everywhere for the Switch 2, games included, physically of course. Because people seem to forget that Nintendo's always been the family-friendly company first. And their primary target audience is, and always will be, kids, which is why no matter what PC, PlayStation, or Xbox are doing, they can't reasonably compete with Nintendo on this front because, let's be real, it is much easier for a child to comprehend and play something simple like a Switch the same way you likely did when you were younger with the Game Boy Advance, or the Nintendo DS too. How many actual kids do you know that have a Steam account and that's it? Now compare that to the amount of kids that you've seen either playing a Switch or mobile games on their parents' phones instead. It's not even close, and we all know it. Because Nintendo is in a class all of their own and are uniquely catering to a wide demographic that everyone else can't really tap into in a similar vein. So while yes, they're charging $20 to $30 more than the current $60 to $70 standard for Switch 2 games, and other titles like Donkey Kong Bonanza are following suit, we know that kids want these games. And their parents obviously want to make their kids happy, so they will buy into it. And look, I love me some Donkey Kong, but I'm not selling my kidney to throw barrels in 4K. But that's the scary part, which is that Nintendo's setting a precedent here. If they can charge $90 for Mario Kart, what's stopping Sony from selling God of War's inevitable sequel for $100 if not more, or Microsoft dropping Halo Infinite 2 for $120? The industry's watching like hawks, and if gamers eat up these prices, we're all doomed to a future where budget gaming means selling your car just to enjoy the latest Call of Duty game day one with your friends. So how does this all tank the gaming industry? Well, let's connect the dots. Higher prices mean fewer people can afford games. Fewer sales mean publishers then lead harder into things like microtransactions, battle passes, and even NFTs. Because nothing screams fun like a $20 skin for your virtual gun, and then smaller studios get crushed because they can't compete with Rockstar's or Nintendo's budgets, and then we end up with a market dominated by soulless AAA slop. It's like the gaming equivalent of a dystopian movie where everyone is just eating gray mush and then calling it dinner. And that's the fear that I have, which is that the middle companies that, like I said, can't compete with Nintendo or Rockstar when it comes to budgets or hardware, are going to either have to play ball or simply die. But how can a AA game convince you that it's worth the same price as, say, GTA 6? Well, it probably can't. Even if AA games, which usually retail for $40 to $50 depending on the game, will now have to at least raise their prices to $60 or even $70. Meaning that the status quo for AAA pricing will now instead become the new normal for AA going forward instead. How is any of this sustainable when you include how expensive things are already outside of video games like rent, food, and more? You really can't. And like I said also, if this pricing becomes the normal and companies know people won't pay $70 for their AA games or God forbid $90 for AAA, then yes, the alternative will be that they will make the difference by perhaps selling you the game for cheaper, but instead carving out content that would have been included day one instead as pre-order bonuses or microtransactions, battle passes, and more. Meaning that the game you would have had before for $70 in actuality ends up costing you more anyway because now you gotta pay more for the same thing in the end if you just want to enjoy everything, even if they lower the base product, because if the things you really want are placed behind digital store glass windows, so to speak, with shiny price tags on it, what's the difference? This would just make video games in general not sustainable for anyone. Nobody could reasonably buy every game that comes out, meaning that these studios will just suffer or close. And I don't think it's especially fair that middle studio-sized people that can't reach the production cost or breadth of content that a Rockstar can with their GTA or Red Dead games. I mean, it's just a race to the bottom. However, it's not all doom and gloom. There is a silver lining, kind of. GTA 6 could be so massive that it pulls new players into gaming. Kind of like how GTA 5 sold 205 million copies and made $9 billion. I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And the Switch 2's hype could drive console sales, especially if it launches hot with Metroid Prime 4. And analysts are predicting record spending in 2025, so maybe the industry won't crash, but it will probably still feel like a roller coaster with no brakes. But the real question is, will gamers push back? Because back in 2006, when games jumped from $50 to $60, people were annoyed, but they still paid up. And then the same happened when 60 became 70, and if we keep, forking over cash like the trained monkeys they think we are, publishers will just keep cranking up prices until we're all eating ramen just to afford Call of Duty 47. My advice, vote with your wallet. Support the indie games, maybe wait for some sales, and maybe don't pre-order the GTA 6 Platinum Heist Edition with a life-size Lucia statue. Your bank account will thank you, trust me. GTA 6 and the Switch 2 could be the greatest thing since sliced bread, or the start of a gaming apocalypse where we're all broke and crying into our controllers. The industry is at a crossroads, and it's up to us to decide whether we're cool with $100 games going forward or we're gonna fight back like it's a boss battle with no checkpoints. I think no matter what I say here, that the inevitable reality is that the Switch 2 will still sell like water in a scorching hot desert. It's inevitable. And anyone trying to convince someone else to not buy GTA 6 knows that it's going to be pointless anyways. Because FOMO, or fear of missing out, is real, and GTA 6 will be the biggest gaming release of all time. It's simply impossible for it not to be. The community and mainstream appeal of GTA isn't even rivaled by other blockbuster franchises like Call of Duty or Madden even. But if I had to give my final thoughts on all of this, my opinion is that this price hike is going to be inevitable. However, this doesn't mean that you need to buy into it or support it yourself. There's so many games out right now that you definitely haven't played already. And I can guess most of you watching have a disgusting amount of games in your backlog that you still haven't played yet. I know that I do. I still have games wrapped in their plastic that I need to get around to eventually. So the reality is most of us can probably wait, but I think this will become a topic that we'll need to circle back to in due time once we get more info on all of this. This industry is already buckling down from the forced agenda stuff that is bleeding their money, and now they're going to try to force you to pay more for the same product with no discernible differences just because they can. And I really hope this doesn't become the new normal going forward, because I would feel sick to my stomach knowing that one of these days the next Assassin's Creed game will probably set me back like $140 Canadian, because nobody can control their impulses these days. So please, vote with your wallets, speak with your voices, Tell these companies how you really feel. Don't harass their employees because it's the executives at the top that are sitting in golden chairs that decide all of this anyway. I do think that Nintendo won't budge at all though, but what can you expect from a company that has zero debt and well over $11 billion in cash on hand as literal FU money, I guess. And that's real, by the way. Go look it up, it's crazy. But thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you when the next inevitable thing explodes.